Even the Conqueror himself is pretty tanky. I think maybe something that they were a little worried about is that they didn't have that real lane securer, but Chen, he goes a long way to doing that. You know, he gives you some counter push as well. It allows you to have a lot more movement around the map. I think people don't give enough appreciation to the fact that the Divine Favor just lets you have a mismatch scenario with not too much telegraphing, if that makes sense. Like you can easily just TP your offlaner down to the bot lane. You've got a 3v2, you win the fight, you just TP straight back with your TP scroll. It's really impactful, and you can use it around those siege creep timings as well, just to make sure that you know, you're able to take that early tower that you need as the Chen to start to come online and be that menace at around the 10-15 minute mark.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, we were talking about this before, but the Spectre looks so juicy right now for GeekFam. You have Chen Spectre lane, he gets a headdress, and she gets a ring of Tarask, and she has like 20 HP regen at 4 minutes. And you
Yeah,
you actually can't kill her. So, I
you
mean,
can get a ring of Tarask, you can get a even just a soul ring, right?
mhm.
It gives a pretty decent regen too. Monkey's alright, but at the end of the day, you can just run away from a Monkey King most of the time. I suppose they've got decent lockdown to prevent that, some good slows as well on Boom's side. So yeah, again, it all comes down to the team fights. Neither team has insane push right now, so
Mhm.
it's just about positioning. I think ward vision is going to be even more important, especially against a Monkey King. But you do have a slight edge in that with having the Beastmaster and, of course, Tree Dance just giving you that extra vision as well.
Yeah, it really does feel like Boom right now are starting to win the Vision War a little bit. As you said, Hawk, even Arrow to a certain extent is pretty good. So they're going to pick up the Venomancer here for Geek Fam. So I'd imagine that's going to be Cuckoo's hero, right? You're going to try and put that up against the Monkey King and really start to abuse that lane that the Monkey King has. You know, low armor. He is a melee hero. Obviously, he has a larger attack range, but really can't deal with the dot damage. Doesn't really want to man fight because you've got the negative regen coming out from Poison Sting. So I feel like that's just going to be Geek Fam just being like, we want to put this hero in this lane so this hero doesn't have a good time.
Hmm.
Which is pretty much what they tried to do last game, but obviously Boom just seemed to outmaneuver them way too much.
I think it depends where this Monkey King's being run, though. It isn't necessarily a guarantee that it's going to be in that safe lane. It could be a mid laner. Do you want to have a... You never really want to run into a Venomancer, right?
Mm-mm.
In the laning stage, just because with all of that minus regen, you're just going to get the worst part of any sort of trades. And then conversely, they've also got on their side the better part of any regen trades with the Chen, with the Divine Favor, just giving that little bit of extra value. Okay, so they're going for the TB as well, realizing that they have no real way to get in onto the backline against a hyper carry ranged hero like a TB with a metamorphosis pop. So that is a little bit of a concern. You know, you don't want to have to run through a Kunkka. You don't want to have to run through some Plague Wards or Chen creeps or anything like
Mm-hmm.
that. So a little bit concerning for them.
Yeah, it is. We'll see what they decide to round out their draft here for Geek Fam. I'm still kind of leaning towards the Spectre. She might not have that fun of time up against a Monkey King, but I feel like you've got a lot of mitigation behind the Spectre right now. You've got a decent way to just kind of run into these towers with the Venomancer and the Conquer and the Chen. Just start pushing into these towers while the Spectre's on the other side of the map. And then even if your Spectre does get ganked 1v4, you're still going to put a lot of pressure on the other side. But they're going to go for the PA here.
Okay.
Alright, okay.
It's a PA style hero, sorry, a Raven style hero. You can delete a Mirana and a Lich and even a Monkey King, honestly, if you get a little bit lucky with those crits. Uh, I mean, being able to juke around a little bit isn't quite as effective, of course, just with that Hawk vision that you can potentially get at the start of team fights. So
Mm-hmm.
we'll see how they go with it.
I'm very suspicious of PA. I don't want to say suspicious. I'm very dubious when I look at people picking PA with not something like a Magnus or basically just a Magnus. I feel like that hero is not standalone. That you have to put a lot of emphasis on empowering that hero, whether it be Bloodlust, Empower, anything that really just makes that hero turn into an absolute beast, because I feel like you can itemize quite decently at dealing with the hero, and you can also abuse her timings as well, because she's not really that scary at the early stages of the game, and once her BKB's down, or pre-BKB, she's not really that much of a scary hero, especially if you've got a lot of physical damage mitigation like the frost armor that they can have.
Regardless, though, I think I'm going to go with GeekFam this time around. I think they've gone a bit less greedy. It doesn't. Yeah, we're still yet to see if this is going to be a Cuckoo Veno. You would think so, but now with this lifestealer being picked up, it's kind of less of an ideal trade.
Yeah, but is Conker that much better for you to have? All right, okay. Well, GeekFam answered my question, so I feel like, yeah, you could probably just go something like Phase Bracer into a Halberd, or Spirit Vessel. You probably don't need to get a Spirit Vessel. It's going to be a Carl Venomancer, okay. So
I was expecting throughout the entire early stages that it might have been the case. They do like to run that in the mid lane. The thing that you need to be very careful of, and I want to be watching the mid lane quite closely, is Venomancer's base damage sucks. So even though you can get some good trades out early on and perhaps force out an extra regen, win the net worth battle in that way, if you're losing the experience battle, that's something where a Monkey King can really start to steamroll you.
Yeah. Especially if I've seen Monkey King players come out on top in a lot of different matchups, and it feels like he's also one of those heroes that can really start to snowball and abuse these unfavorable matchups. And as you said, if Carl doesn't get off to a good start here on the Venomancer, it can really start to fall behind, and that hero feels very, very lackluster without really good farm or being in a really, really good game for it. So I'm really going to be keeping my eye on Carl and Makoto and see who comes out on top, because Makoto came out on top in that first match. So we'll see who does come out when it does come towards that mid lane matchup, Matt.
Yeah, we will see. 4 out of 20 recent matches, he was MVP. That's some nice little trivia coming through there for Carl. But in true Sea Dota fashion, we got to pause.
Lovely.
Hyping.
I mean, we're used to Australian matches. We're used to Australian Dota 2, where you come into it and they are pausing at the start of literally every game. Like, literally every game. I think we had the most recent tournament that we did, Matt, I believe it was almost 100% of the time. That, like, we started a game and that was it. There was a pause straight away, and just had to deal with it. Just had to get in and get over it,
Alright, we got a reconnect coming through here from KezCute, and soon to follow is FBZ there. So, based off the draft, what do you reckon? Do you think Boom are going to be able to take this one out 2-0, or will GeekFam come back into it?
I'm not really that good at choosing who's going to win in a lot of these games, Danog, but I don't know. I'm such a PA hater. I'm a huge PA hater, so I would feel wrong with myself saying that GeekFam was going to win this, but I really like Chen, so I mean, I want to say I want to go to 3 games, because I want to see these teams battle it out in a full 3-game series when it comes down to the wire going to the upper bracket, going into that grand final. So, I mean, I'm just gonna have to follow the immortal Danog and go with GeekFam on this one.
As you should.
I've been a contrarian before, and it tends to usually bite me in the butt. So this time I'm just gonna deal with it, and we're gonna go with Danog and see how it goes.
Much planned for the weekend, Fluke?
I'm actually going home to my hometown, which has a population of 300 people. I know a lot of you in Twitch chat are like, wow, how do you have internet? I moved away from that very tiny town, Twitch chat.
To a slightly larger town, but still not that big.
I mean, yeah, I guess so. Yeah, it's slightly larger, a couple of more 1,000 people, but I mean, yeah, I'm going home, just chilling out, just gonna go see some old friends and go pump some money into the local economy. What about you, Denon? What are you doing?
It is my birthday on Monday, so I'm doing a little bit of celebrating going on. I'm I'm casting again tomorrow, actually. The grand finals and the losers bracket finals. So that'll be a bit hype. But I've got a small break on Sunday. No, actually, no. I think I'm casting on Sunday as well. So Monday night is my break night. My actual birthday is my break day. So lots of casting for me now.
So you're not a birthday week person where you plan out your entire week where it's like I'm doing this, I'm doing that, I'm relaxing, I'm not going to work, all this and that. You're just more of a practical. I want to be doing stuff on my birthday.
No, I am a male, so I do not do those sorts of things.
True. Well, that's fair. Well, happy birthday for Monday. Hopefully we get some Phil's birthday mans in chat for you right now, Danog, because you're getting pretty old, mate. I know you turn into a boomer soon, so you might want to check your receding hairline on Monday, mate. You might want to pull the fringe up a little bit and see, measure it, get the tape measure out. We'll see if the hairline's starting to go back a little bit, because
look, I don't want to hear anything about looks from someone that looks like Sid from Toy Story, all right?
Oh, that's a burn that I don't think I'll ever get over. So, thanks, mate. I'm glad our friendship has now devolved into us likening each other to Disney characters. Well, Toy Story, yeah.
All right, we're back into things. 10 seconds until these bounty roots spawn. Looking like a little bit more aggressive than it was last time around. It was just a 2-for-2 trade simply, and well, it's looking like being the same, but starting to encroach on the enemy territory on both sides of the map.
Yeah, so we go for the classic 2-for-2 trade here on the bounty runes. So both teams are going to be happy with how that does end up. I wonder how this lifesteal is going to deal in this game. I wonder how Dreamer Cell is going to overcome the fact of his position 1 versus position 1 matchup is not going to be all too strong for him. Whether he goes for like an early MKB, or if he just tries to utilize the rest of his teammates to try and deal with the Phantom Assassin in these team fights.
And you can see the harass already starting to come out from Kezcute. He's following up onto Cuckoo, spamming out that Frost Blast as much as he can, getting maximum value out of his mana regen and already bullying him out of lane a little bit.
Yeah, Cuckoo and Kezcute are going to have a little bit of a man mode fight here in the jungle. They're just going to throw the auto attacks out, but Kezcute, as you said, come to lane with quite a lot of mana regen, so he wants to throw out those spells as quickly as he possibly can. And we see already Zephyr is starting to double up the wave here for Cuckoo, so he doesn't have to deal with the Lycia and the Lich for him.
I was about to say, is he about to triple up the wave with the mid lane? But no, he's just TPing away, making sure it's all going to come at an appropriate time. The fact that Cuckoo's been able to still get half a level of XP during all this, I think he'd be pretty happy.
It basically almost will be a triple wave, because the next wave is going to spawn right about now, and it'll be just not too far behind here for Cuckoo. So he's got a decent amount of experience coming his way here, and Zephyr's just trying to do his best to try and make sure that Cuckoo comes out on top in this lane. But towards the mid lane here, we do have Carl going up against Makoto. Makoto starting to lose out a little bit here. He's level 3 already. He's got 2 levels in the Gale, so it seems like this is what Carl's going to try and go for. He's going to try and go for the Gale spam onto the MK, just so he can't come into the crit wave at all.
They're getting some aggression here onto Hyde. He's obviously gone the Sacred Arrow to start off the game, but he's taken up a decent amount of harass here from Whiteman, who's already hit up onto his level 2. Will he get the Courier as well? No, not quite.
A little bit unfortunate there. He threw one auto attack, turned back around. Maybe if he stood out for the Courier kill, he would have gotten it. But I mean, that's okay. They're starting to put a lot of pressure on this offlane here for Boom. FBZ is really not getting all too much out of this lane. He's 6-2 up against Ravens 13-2, so this PA seems to be doing extremely fine in this top side.
And as well in mid lane, we were talking about having to pay a little bit of attention to it. So far, Carl is winning out the CS war right now, slightly ahead of the Makoto Monkey King, but misses out on that range CS, at least not losing the experience for it.
Oh, Carl's getting stuck under the tower here. He's just trying to trade here with Makoto, and Makoto's just trying to do his best, but at this point he's just going to have constant dots on him, so there's no real good time for him to sit back and salve up. And even if he does salve up, he's going to try and do it now in the trees. He's going to come back in, he's going to cop another Gale, he's going to cop a couple of auto attacks, so Carl's just going to be able to... Oh, he does...
dodges.
No, actually, no, he did get hit by it as he jumped over the top, so Carl will be able to put that on top of him. He does have the Boundless Strike, but he's going to try and turn
Oh,
back around
nice.
here. Oh, no, they do glyph the creeps. Makoto, he wants to try and get the Boundless Strike. He gets a lot of HP back from that. Now he's going to start going back in onto Carl. Doesn't have the boots to keep on top of him, and Hyde was able to take out Whitemon's career on the top side, so...
Great play from Makoto there, being able to pump fake the Boundless Strike, not wanting to get caught out with the... oh, is he diving in onto Carl? He is.
He's going to try and do it with the Primal Spring here. He's got 1 stack, 2 stack, 3 stacks, 4. He's looking for the last auto attack, and he gets it done. And Makoto gets the first blood and the first kill there, and they do get a return on the bottom side. So they take out Kezcute, but the big one there is the fact that Makoto was able to get a solo kill onto Carl.
Well, that's going to bring things back a little bit more in his favor. He's now half a level ahead of this Venomancer. He's still got a few charges of the Jingu Mastery, but don't know if he'll be able to get back fast enough to get the full regen off from it.
He's going to try. He does have a Boundless Strike. There's a full crit wave here as well. They throw out the Gale on top. Makoto's looking for another kill on Carl. The arrow comes forward from Hyde. They don't get it done. Finally, the Boundless Strike comes down, and with the Frost Blast on top, Kezcute cleans that one up. Zephyr gets himself a solo kill on Hyde. But Makoto, he's starting to streak forward here, and this is what I was talking about with this Venomancer versus the Monkey King. Sometimes MK he just gets on top, dude. I don't understand this hero.
I mean, it takes ballsy plays like that, right? He used the tree dance twice to dive past him underneath a tower, and it's paid off for him. Granted, he got a little bit of help from the supports that time around, but now the fact that Venomancer has to walk all the way back to lane, even pops a Smoke of Deceit for the extra movement speed.
Yeah, a little bit unfortunate for him. Cuckoo's gonna start fighting here. Hyde on towards the T2 tower. Is Hyde gonna throw the arrow? Ooh, not unfortunate for him. But
Zephyr's been able to farm himself up a decent amount of gold as well, sitting on 1,000 for himself. So we'll see what he opts to go for.
I'd imagine it's going to be the same build as what he did last time, right? Just going boots into the Spirit Vessel. Spirit Vessel's very good against Monkey King. Like, yeah, you do have a Venomancer, but I'd imagine your mid-Venom wants to try and go for something a little different. Maybe a Halberd first here, but Makoto's going to start throwing those auto attacks. Zephyr and Hyde just doing the old pos for jiggle in the middle lane.
I think Veno's fine to go the Spirit Vessel, honestly. It gives him a lot of the survivability that he needs to live for a bit longer. It means that all of your minus regen is on one hero, so like Boom have to focus him down. Now, with especially it being that aura throughout the Spirit Vessel as well as the active, means that you just can't ignore him anymore.
Exactly. Well, we'll see what they do decide to go for him. We've got a decent amount of heroes towards this mid lane. Zephyr, they're going to try and fight over this regen rune. He did eventually get the click on it before the arrow came through, so nice for them. But both safe laners are like, okay guys, you guys can all goof and gaff around in the middle lane. I'm just going to start hitting creeps here. And Raven, more than happy to do that. Same with Dreamercell on the bottom side. 48 and 11 against the 47 and 9. So both pretty similar in last hits here.
Yeah, doing quite well. It's going to be one of those games that it feels like it's pretty much the supporting cast for both of these carries. Zephyr might be getting caught out here, though.
Speaking of supporting cast, Zephyr is trying to waste a bit of time here from Boom, but he's going to take a lot of damage and probably lose his life as well. Zephyr doesn't have anything else to play around, and that will be another kill going the way of Boom.
Yeah. Had the TP, but you just can't pop it when you've got that Sinister Gaze available with Kezcute.
Yeah, that is true.
We do see a couple of stacks being formed up here by Whitemon here in the Dire jungle, but you don't have the greatest potential to take it out just yet. You know, go on the Battle Fury on Raven, but don't think he wants to leave them sitting in there in the jungle for that long.
Yeah, especially with somebody like Makoto, who's quite easily able to jump in there with that max out Primal Spring and come in and deal with those stacks very early on. So Dreamercell having to use the rage there to get the last auto attack on the T1 tower. So Boom already taking down that offlane tower is good enough for them. Doesn't really open up too much for them, but does mean that now the Ancients are a lot less secure here for GeekFam.
Yeah, they don't have the greatest Ancient taking lineup, so it's okay. Oh, I hear a Chen relocate starting to happen.
Yeah, so it looks like they were coming in with Zephyr to try and get the TP cancel, but a nice arrow there onto Raven meant that he wasn't able to deal any more damage. I'd imagine FBZ probably would have been dead if Raven was able to sit there and auto attack for those extra couple of seconds.
Zephyr is doing a good job at keeping up this rune control. Doesn't want Makoto to be able to freely rotate like he's trying to now towards this top side, or even just farm on his own. That level 4 on Zephyr going to be pretty handy to be able to maybe turn things around.
He's just getting a lot of information here, so they do know that Makoto's heading towards top side. They know that both supports here from Boomer on top side as well, so Raven goes, okay, boys and girls, I'm going to start heading back towards the jungle. He can throw out that blur as well, active, to just try and get on top of some of these creeps so he can start farming up these stacks that have been made here for Whitemon, or from Whitemon, I should say.
And it is a 1k gold lead right now for Boom, but it has to be taken into account that a tower is part of that, so really the only big loss for them so far was that mid lane, sitting at about 1200 gold behind at 9 minutes into the game. Isn't what you want as a Venomancer, but he doesn't need all too much to become effective.
Well, looks like Dreamer Cell now. He's just continuing to put the pressure here. Oh, looks like they've found out Hyde. So, take my eye off him for a minute, and then he gets himself taken down. He looks like he did take the outpost as well, so turning that back in the favor here for GeekFam.
Even lucking out a little bit here with Whitemon, picking up the Harpy Stormcrafter, so not quite as effective as if you can get it super early on, but still, it's never going to be a fun team fight or even laning stage if you've just got that constantly pestering you.
Yeah, it is good for cleaning out stacks as well. It's not all too bad.
Yeah, the rotations start to come as well from Boom up towards this top side of the map. They want this outpost. They want to deny as much experience away from the GeekFam lineup as they can, realizing that Venomancer, that's how he makes a lot of his teamfight effectiveness happen.
Well, they're going to have to try and get it done very, very quickly because it will be that 10-minute mark. They're going to come in on the sideline here, try and get rid of those boars, and they do get it done. Raven's sitting inside that blur, so can run away from his... Oh my god, that's a torrent, and that's a chains, and that's a dead hide.
It's just Hyde, though, at the end of the day. I think they're okay with that. They force the rotations through from GeekFam to the top side of the map. It means that throughout all of that, Dreamer Cell's able to farm it. He's got that haste rune, and what can Carl do? He has to just TP back to the tier 2 tower.
Yeah, he's got a health pot in his inventory, so he's okay with that. So Dreamer Cell now, they really want to try and get rid of this tier 1 tower. Especially before K gets to a position where he has that Spirit Vessel early on. And speaking of, it looks like Zephyr did go back for a Medallion of Courage, so he's going to try and get that Solar Crest as quickly as possible to try and limit the amount of damage that the Life Stealer and the Beastmaster can do.
Or even just enabling your PA even more, right?
True.
All that minus armor that's going to be coming out with this strategy. You don't quite have it as much with the hero abilities anymore, so you got to get it through items.
Yeah, so Zephyr's going to try and defend this tier 1 tower. Dreamer Cell making some good rotations across the map. You do miss the torrent there onto the Lifestealer. So Dreamer Cell is just going to cartwheel his way out of there. Or Homer Simpson spin, whatever you want to call it.
Whoop whoop.
The whoop whoop. I mean, Whitemon is walking at him pretty aggressively, but with the rage still of cooldown here, it means that Lifestealer should be more than fine at dealing with anything that's going to come his way. The only thing they really are going to have to stop that TP out later on will be the PA once she gets a basher.
Can probably lock out with a few creeps as well, right? Pick up a Dark Troll Summoner.
Yeah, something like that. Maybe. Does that still go through BKB?
Oh no, not anymore. Sorry, I thought you just meant in general. Oh, they found Kescute.
Yeah, they're looking for him here in the river. Frost Armor does a decent amount of work there, but if you're against 2 cores coming out here from GeekFam, you're probably dead.
Yeah. And you could tell the way that Boomer wanting to play this, I think perhaps based on how that mid lane went favorably for the Monkey King, opting to go into this Armlet build on the Lifestealer. Go a bit more aggressive, realizing that with the Venomancer hindered somewhat, you're able to take advantage of the early team fights a lot more effectively right now on Boom.
It looks like Dreamer Cells is going to move himself straight into a MKB as well.
Yeah, why not? You've got your early teamfight potential. You just want to be doing the damage right now because you've got plenty of farming capability with this Monkey King, especially once he hits up onto that level 20. You can just start Primal Springing waves out and harassing down GeekFam a whole lot easier than a Lifestealer can.
Do you think both teams are just going to be sitting on the back foot for a little bit, just trying to get, Makoto an extra item, trying to get Dreamer Cell an extra item, or do you think one of these other teams is going to start pushing a little bit more? Maybe I'd be looking more towards maybe GeekFam trying to put a little bit more pressure while PA farms out. He's getting closer and closer to that Battle Fury, so...
I don't think you can until you've got this Spirit Vessel at least on Carl. He needs to pick that up first, and then they can start making the movements to enable that extra minute or two that the PA might need. But at the rate he's going, they might even be picking it up at the same time anyway.
That's true. He's a couple hundred gold away from his own Spirit Vessel. They're going to try and defend their Tier 2 tower top. I mean, this does give time to Zephyr to farm up on this Ember Spirit, so... I mean, it's not all doom and gloom for them having a slow game. I guess maybe Whitemon's the one that's not really feeling it all too much. He's starting to farm up a little bit here on the Chen, so... Both teams seem to be more than happy to sit back and farm for a little bit here. Dreamer Soul's the one that's getting found out, though.
Perhaps revealing some information about the ward vision that they've got available on GeekFam. Knowing that you can't just be there unless you're something really tanky like this Lifestealer and able to rage TP away.
Yeah, that is true. Whitemon seems like he's going to try and do something with his triple Centaur. He does have a Purge creep as well, so Purge Penitents trying to get themselves on top of the heroes with the triple Centaur. Hide using the Moonlight.
Raven, he's going to have to be a little careful. Cuckoo's on the front lines as well. He's got a couple of braces, so he's fairly tanky.
Mikoto, they do throw out the primals, the Boundless Strike as well as the arrow coming in, so Cuckoo eventually does use that boat, but it's just not enough. Doesn't keep himself alive, same with the Hand of God, so didn't pick up a freebie.
That's a long time to not have Hand of God. You know, it's still 2.5 minutes available. It means that they can start pushing into you when really Raven should be spending his time farming up his BKB, but he might be caught out here. Yeah,
they do throw an arrow forward. Doesn't collect on any of the creeps or onto the Chen himself, so just be careful. Kev's getting himself a nice little deep ward down. TP out as well. So looks like GeekFam, they're starting to fall behind a little bit. They are farming up, but at the same time, they're starting to lose net worth leads here and there. FBZ comes forward with the Raw, comes down. Spirit Vessel on top of the Beastmaster. So no heals for him. They're trying to get the triple Centaur in for the cool triple stop, but it doesn't look like they're going to be able to get there in time. Eventually, no. It does lose its life, but Raven making his way over does get himself a kill. Cuckoo's looking for another one here with the X. Doesn't collect it, so GeekFam get themselves an FBZ kill.
Slowly ticking down on Whitemon, and he's just going to straight die.
Okay.
That's a little bit greedy.
A little unfortunate there for Whitemon. Hyde's getting caught out. They have a Centaur stop coming out in a couple seconds, but Hyde loses his life, not having any of those leaps available. Makoto almost caught out by a torrent.
Yeah, went for the blind one. Nice presence of mind to be able to dodge it. It probably wouldn't have made too much of a difference, but Whitemon's still holding that buckler in his backpack instead of the Smoke of Deceit. Just losing out on a little bit of extra armor for himself.
SMH Raven. Cuckoo was trying to stack the Ancients for him with Torrent, and Raven jumped in there anyways. Carry players.
Can't with him, can't win with him, can't win without him.
Can't with them, can't without them. That's the quote of the day right there.
Yeah. I don't know, I think my Toy Story Sid one was pretty good.
Yeah, I don't give you the good ones, Matt, alright? I give you the ones where you make a mistake, okay? Because then it makes me feel better about myself.
Oh, we can't have that. I don't know if Carl's going to be able to do all too much here against Dreamer Cell. You know, he didn't even have to pop the Rage there with the Venomous Gale missing. And, well, did they even grab all of the neutral items that are available on both teams? They did, but we've got a new set coming out now, so Dreamer Cell could just try and stack it up a little bit, but again, oh, there we go. I was about to say the carry player mindset of just see creep, hit creep, but he's going to be able to back off and probably fit out most of his team.
Well, they found Zephyr, and he does go down. Carl tried to make a rotation towards that, but he was already dead.
Another shawl coming out already. Not great. Oof, look at all these items. You can see as well here with Raven, with his Battle Fury, able to take out these camps a whole lot more faster, and his net worth should look to spike up a lot more quickly than the rest of his team. He's picked up the Aquila for himself as well, so even in team fights... Ooh, who are they going to catch out here? Whitemon is walking past, he's got the Hand of God available, but I don't think you want to pop it.
He's just dead. He gets feared anyway, so he doesn't even get the Hand of God off. Makoto did dump the Wukongs for that, so it's okay.
It's okay, but at the end of the day, they got the mid tower anyway, so two objectives achieved, right? Slowing down the Chen pressure. I think he cleaned up one of the Chen creeps as well, and the tower, and that opens up Roshan, and they've also got the Medallion of Courage on this Beastmaster, so it should be dying relatively quickly.
MKB completely completed now for Dreamercell. Should get an Aegis into his own... Wait. Did I just hear... Kezcute just chain frosted a set of creeps, right?
Sure.
Fair enough.
Why not?
Finally now, Dreamercell does get that open wounds out, so he can start healing himself up with the MKB. Proxy does a decent amount of damage. GeekFam, they're a little bit too late to the party here. They do throw out a torrent, but it doesn't matter because Dreamercell already has the Aegis in his pocket. Raven cleans up a tower as well. They're going to get the X marks torrent combo onto FBZ. They're trying to take him down. Getting fairly tanky here, but on the backside, Raven's jumped into probably the worst situation that he could have gone in. Dreamercell trying to stick on top of him, but doesn't get any more lockdown. So with the Spirit Vessel back down here, they're starting to kite around the Life Stealer, and yeah, you might have Rage, but as soon as that's off cooldown, you have to be very, very careful. With the armor toggles coming back in, FBZ hits that buyback button again.
He went and died to a neutral creep, missing his armlet toggle. so yeah, Aegis.
Oh, he did. Oh, okay. I don't know about that one. That's
I suppose you denied away from Raven, which is pretty important. Like, they can take this relatively quickly themselves, so it's not the worst, but you've certainly given up a big part of your advantage.
Yeah, especially because we saw in that last fight, Dreamercell, he doesn't want to use his rage in inopportune times just to get rid of these slows come out from the Venomancer, so, you know, yeah, even though Carl didn't have the greatest of laning stages, he can still kite around this last healer pretty handily.
Some aggressive movements coming out from GeekFam, and it's going to work this time. They're going to grab both outposts for themselves, so denying some of that valuable experience away from Boom ID.
Oh, FBZ. They found him out again. He bought back for this, so he has to be very, very careful. Whitemon gets pushed himself over to the other side of the crystals. They're turning around onto the board, but with the Moonlight Shadow, they keep FBZ safe for now. Zephyr's on the front line. Have to be careful. They have no Raw. Hyde coming back in. Oh, the board dodge there. There's a nice little play there from Whitemon. Keeping Zephyr alive for a little bit longer, but oh, he missed his Remnant. Ooh. But he gets it down to the low ground now, so he's baiting a little bit more abilities. Zephyr's going to try and TP away to their way of stopping the TP. No! Looks like he gets himself away of Makoto inside of his Wukong's command. Dodges away from Carl as well as Cuckoo.
Real nice plays coming out there from GeekFam. They got everything that they would have wanted, right? A couple of ultimates used. They got the outpost, they've got the experience, and lose nobody for it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we're coming out on top of that one. But GeekFam still have a decent way to go. They are 4,000 gold behind. We have seen this meta time and time again. You start to fall behind indefinitely. But, you know, you have a PA on your team. This is where I'm not as much of a PA hater, where you get your 3 items or 4 items or whatever that hero needs, and you just start to delete people. But you have to be very, very careful with how you do play around not having a BKB. Your Scepter comes forward here from... Oh! He was halfway through a jump, I believe. Phantom Assassin, you're allowed to do that. You have an attack range. But they're looking for Dreamercell as well. Well, it looks like they're looking for Makoto on the backside, but Zephyr's the one that pays the price for it. Kezcute, very liberal with that chain force. That's a big torrent coming in onto 2 people, but Makoto's got his own BKB. He's turning back around onto the rest of GeekFam. Carl's going to lose his life first, and they're trying to get onto Whitemon. FBZ's just chasing away Cuckoo, so they're going to be able to catch out onto the Chen. Do their way of stopping the TP. They don't need it because they've got the damage, and they're looking for another one. FBZ, he roared Cuckoo, but Cuckoo took literally no damage.
Must have got a Phantom +1 armor buff recently.
The literally unkillable +1 armor. Thank you, Ice Frog. But now, this is what I'm talking about with this net worth. It does feel, I wouldn't say insurmountable, but these leads feel very strong when you have these leads early on. And Dreamercell starting to put a lot of pressure on this tier 2 tower. They've taken out another creep wave, and you see here, you know, Raven, yeah, he does blow up one hero, but as soon as these team fights actually start turning into team fights, you see Makoto as well as Dreamercell, how strong they actually are on these heroes. But
it's not like they expended nothing for it to happen, right? Like, Boom are going to get less strong as it goes on when this BKB timer starts to be used over and over again. So they've only used it once so far on... who are they going to be able to find out here with Hyde? He's infested as well. Yeah, they're going to get on top of Whitemon here for Dreamercell, but looks like that's a boat torrent combo going down onto the Mirana. So she blows up. They had to use the rage here for Dreamercell to get away. So the rest of Boom, they're going to go, alright boys, it's time to back away, trying to reset. Let's see if we can get out on top of somebody else. can just see here with Raven, he's wanting to team fight in this near future. He's gone the Vanguard first, realizing the strength coming up against this Monkey King as well as the Lifestealer, and he's going to be able to build into that Basher and eventually the Abyssal Blade as well. Later on, PA destroys the Lifestealer. There's really nothing you can do about it, which is why I was kind of questioning the fact that it did come out as Boom's last pick, but I guess putting the strength in themselves to try and win this game before that becomes a reality, before the PA is going to start snowballing and be the difference maker in this game. Right now is the time to do it, still with a 3k net worth advantage when it looks to that mid lane and a 5k advantage overall.
It's true. Makoto sitting in the trees here, just trying to keep an eye onto Raven. I think maybe if Dreamer Cell can start hitting, you know, an extra item, maybe Makoto can follow shortly behind. They can try and deal with this Raven PA before she starts getting that BKB. As for now, as you said, moving towards that Abyssal Blade here for Raven, starting with the Vanguard, so he wants to try and get in and provide his own lockdown for his team.
It's not like an item is even absolutely necessary. He's found a double damage, and they've found Carl.
Yeah, Makoto, he's getting caught out here. He does get the poison over as well as the Gale out on top of him. The Spirit Vessel on top, he's taking a lot of damage. As you said, DD Rune here onto Dreamer Cell. He's going to have to pop a BKB. He has to pop a BKB charge. So we're trying to catch a few more heroes coming into this. So the BKB used, and this is a disengage here. 5 heroes getting stacked up here. If the PA can get on top of this, could be a lot of cleave damage coming in. The torrent comes down, but it doesn't matter. FBZ turns around for the roar, but he dies before it. 80 seconds without a Beastmaster now because he bought back recently. Hyde's getting caught out with the X on top, and this is where PA is going to go to work. Raven has to be very, very careful not to get caught out here. Look at how much damage Dreamer Cell's doing. He's getting on top of Raven, and he's dead. The Hand of God came out way too late there from Whitemon. He's not having a good one today. Cuckoo's trying to get the damage onto Makoto, realizing that there's no BKB for him. And Dreamer Cell getting the open wounds, getting the chase down. Those Monkey King procs are doing a lot of work there for the Lifestealer. Dreamer Cell is a big, strong man right now.
He is, and taking full advantage of that double damage. Could have gone much better for GeekFam, but Cuckoo, I believe, was a little bit short on mana for the Ghost Ship when they were all pulled together in that one small place. Carl might even be going down here.
Oh, how close was that?
Nice cosplay, bro.
I actually, when I was casting with Toby, I did that, and he cringed at me, so I was very tentative to try and do it again, but... Hopefully,
you know
Toby,
I won't let you get away with these things.
Yeah, exactly. So hopefully, Toby, if you're out there listening to this, hopefully I did you proud on that one. But either way, Hyde, you get caught out by Zephyr. Makoto's looking for a return, though. Didn't find a tree close enough. Well, actually, he has found one now. In comes the Primal Spring. Zephyr's getting very low on the mana front. Very low on the HP front as well. So Makoto cleaning up a return kill there.
Just get the sense that they need to start taking a little bit more control over this. Makoto, they're playing aggressively. They realize that they need to start pushing into these towers. They've taken the top one, which is very important. Roshan could potentially respawn in 20 seconds. You get the sense that that's the next key timing that Boom are waiting for. You've also got, like we were talking about before, the level 20 coming up shortly on Makoto. So he's just going to be able to push out these waves so much more easily and create pressure where you might not be expecting it.
Yeah, they are starting to look for Raven now. Makoto as well as Dreamer Cell. They've got the two-man Uber. They're coming in. They're looking for Raven. See if they can catch him out. But wisely enough, TP's away.
It's a lot of wasted time, though. This works out for GeekFam.
Yeah, they have to be very, very careful to make sure that these next couple of team fights do start going in their way. I really feel like they need to start enabling Raven to just chomp through everybody. They need to make sure that this lifesteal is chunked down. They need to make sure that Makoto misuses a lot of his spells and abilities. So, you know, maybe Raven doesn't have to fight in the Wukong's command, because trying to fight a Monkey King inside of Wukong's command is 9 times out of 10 going to end up in your death.
Yes.
Oh, Moonlight Shadow and a smoke.
That was a really quick Roshan as well, but there's going to be a team fight before it.
They're going to come in here. They do throw out the boat as well. So trying FBZ is getting on top of Kunkka. That's throughout the roar, but he's caught between 3 heroes on the side of GeekFam, and he's going to die. Dreamer Cell and Makoto trying to get rid of the backlines. They're trying to get rid of the rest of GeekFam here, but they can't get on top of these heroes. X-Mark comes in on Makoto, using that BKB, stops himself for now. Nice balance strike, keeping a few heroes at bay, but this BKB is going to start to wear off. Yeah, you might have an Assault Cuirass, but I don't think it really matters. They're going to come in. Can they focus down the Monkey King? No, he can't. He's turning around. He's killing everybody. It looks like Dreamercell trying to get it on this front side, get rid of some of these heroes, but Raven, he's jumped in. He's jumped into the rest of Boom ID. Can they get rid of him? No, they can't. The 4 stars keeps him alive, and this is where Dreamercell starts to run into a few issues. He's getting kited around the 4 stars as well as the Venomancer is doing a lot of work. Raven chunks down another, and they get rid of 4. I thought maybe Makoto was able to stand and fight. No, they've called out Kezcute as well. Nice healer getting brought back here with the X marks the spot from Cuckoo. They're going to try and get on top of him. They found him out with the Torrent and the Searing Chains. And that's 5-0 there. GeekFam, that was the team fight that they really needed.
I mean, normally I would agree with you with being able to stand and fight as this Monkey King, but they've taken the fights well enough on GeekFam that they can just say, look, you know what? We're able to just sit back a little bit. We want to make sure that you use those BKBs. It was down to 8 seconds. Now it's sitting at 7. And it wasn't even Raven that did the majority of the damage. It was just that prolonged team fight and having the Venomancer, having the Aura with the Chen, really effective. And then, of course, the Coco Rum doing a lot of work as well for this Kunkka. So things are starting to go more and more in GeekFam's favor. And if you have a look at the win probability, it's taken a sharp dive towards the dire side.
Am I a win probability user? I am. I've figured it out. I'm a Dota Plus user now, Matt. I remember you scolded me last time.
Good.
Good.
Your offering has been accepted.
I mean, my battle pass is almost like... I can't even remember what it was. I think it was like 400 last time I checked. I had to get that Wraith King Arcana, so I was just like, Gabe, and take my money until I have it.
Good man.
But yeah, you just see that win probability start to dip down here for Boom after those couple of team fights. And this is pre-BKB for Raven. He seems to be playing these fights really well. And I think the biggest concern here from Boom is every single time Makoto is going to have to use that BKB at an inopportune time. You know, he gets Galed, he gets Poison Stung, and then he gets a Spirit Vessel on top of him. Even if he gets away from it, he's going to lose a lot of his HP for it. So you either have to try and commit straight away with a BKB, turn back around, try and get rid of GeekFam at the start of these fights, or just try and completely reset and try and get Makoto into a good position where he can get on top of Carl with a Primal Spring and BKB. But for now, if Makoto keeps I wouldn't say misusing his BKB, but using his BKB at inopportune times and then not having it for a proper fight, that's when it's going to start looking real bad here for Boom, because they're going to start getting on a timer where Raven's PA is going to have BKB, Abyssal, Battle Fury, and Deso, and she's going to clean up everybody.
For Boom, though, they're reaching a little mini timing for themselves, too. You've just picked up a telescope on our Mirana, so that's going to be really handy, both for getting the Yule Scepter off on a couple of these heroes, as well as it enables the Lich, who's got the Keen Optic backpacked with that telescope aura, providing a lot of benefits there, and even just the Ghost Scepter. Ooh.
Looking for something here. Oh, that's a big arrow that hits on a Carl, so that's 5 seconds for him. So it might give Makoto the space that he needs to get away without having to use his BKB. But he's going to try and stand and fight. The BKB has been used. Raven turns back around, jumps in a little bit too early there. Does have the Aegis of the Immortal on the PA, so Makoto using that BKB, they want to get away. Oh, Kezcute, he's probably going to be the sacrifice. Yeah. Abyssal sacrifice there from Raven. He'll take that one.
It's that power of that PA. You just don't want to give him time, and against a Lifestealer, it does so much.
That is true. As you were saying a little bit earlier on, the Lifestealer is really not going to have many avenues to deal with this Phantom Assassin. You know, Dreamercell, he's got items to try and man-fight the PA, but at the same time, you have to be careful of the Coco Rum, the Hand of God, everything else that comes not just behind the PA.
They even just went for a kill onto Zephyr, and he's able to remnant out. Missing the timing on the Mirana arrow means that, well, all this threat being pushed onto this tier 2 tower, and they can't do anything about it. Yeah, just take all the outer towers, why not? The creeps are probably going to be able to do it on their own on this bottom side, to be honest.
It always feels bad when you try and go for those value trades. You know, like, you're like, oh, we're probably going to lose the tower, but let's try and get something else done on the other side of the map, and then it just goes wrong, and you're like, well, this is where it starts feeling bad for us. Raven's the one that's going to TP back by himself. Maybe if Makoto stays up towards the top side here, they can try and burn an Aegis for them.
Ooh, that was close.
Raven knew.
Cuts the tree. Yeah, he knew.
So either way. Now, this is where it starts getting a little slower. Oh, okay. Whitemon just died. Desolator AC with a Lifestealer and a Monkey King on your head. You're probably going to die. all the time, Chen.
Alright, so what other key timings are coming out shortly? Level 20 on Veno would be handy. Just the... Oh, he had his E-Blade queued up on this Veno for a little bit of time, and he's changed that into a Shiva's. I feel like just the Ghost Scepter would be pretty handy for him. Well, they missed onto the Makoto.
That's not a good start here, Carl. Gonna try and come back in, though. So much card ability here for the side of GeekFam means that Makoto, he has to be so perfect with his BKB uses in these next couple of fights. Raven, though, he's going to get found. All right. He found out Hyde there. I thought it was going to be the other way around. Oh, Dreamer Cell, he got bashed as well from the dagger. He's trying to turn back around and fight onto Raven, who gets roared up. Look at how much damage he's doing. Yeah, Hand of God does a decent amount of work. Another 4-star kiting around these melee heroes.
It's fine.
For
He's
now,
got Aegis.
Boom. They're going to have to turn back around. And as you said, oh, it's a big Wukong's on this command. Can they get the boundless strike? Makoto still hasn't used that BKB, so he still has that to play around with on the backside. In comes the boat, doing a lot of work here. Dreamer Cell coming in, taking down Zephyr. Raven, he's turned back around, but no, the BKB here from Makoto turning in a fight. He gets a lot of HP back from the last dealer jumping inside of him. They lose the first life there. Cuckoo have to use the cheese to turn back around. Another set of 4-stars come out here, kiting around these melee heroes for a little bit longer. Raven standing in fight. The Bristle Blade takes down Makoto, and he's looking for Dreamer Cell next. Disarm comes from the halberd as well. Raven has to jump himself back onto Cuckoo, and they do lose Carl on the backside of that as well. Carl eventually does take down FBZ with the dot damage. So Dreamer Cell as well as Kezcute. Oh, that doesn't see him. He's standing in the trees. Dreamer Cell just TP. Alright, Rage TP's out. So they get rid of the Aegis. They get rid of Carl. They lose Makoto. Does that feel even for you? I mean, the net worth is certainly starting to dip the way of GeekFam here. Seems like that
absolutely.
was a huge net worth gain there for Raven.
I mean, yeah, 2 deaths for 3 plus a buyback. Always going to be handy to be able to get that sort of exchange. Aegis was gone in 10 seconds anyway, so Raven giving up a death for that is totally fine. And, well, they're just picking up more and more of these items that are going to enable them to snowball. What have we even got coming up next? I mean, I feel like the Abyssal Blade on Dreamer Cell is the one thing that could potentially bring them back into this. With the stun up there, you do have the potential to burst out this PA that doesn't quite have a BKB yet for herself. I think that needs to be the next big item for him. And, well, that double damage. Good luck, Hyde, if you get caught out here. He's staying in the trees, scared for his life. Hyde needs to hide.
Hyde needs to jump in the trees here. He does get away, so Raven doesn't find a new victim with this double damage rune. Satanic has been built up here for the Phantom Assassin, so he's got a decent amount of status of this going his way, and even if he does get caught out, they do have that massive amount of lifesteal for him to play around with. And I think it's going to start to get to the point where Cuckoo is going to be unkillable. We saw Dreamer Cell do a decent amount of work there, but at the same time, they have to focus Raven at the start of these fights, because otherwise he's just going to clean up everybody else. But they spend so much time trying to kill the PA that they can't deal with anybody else here for GeekFam. Oh, Zephyr, going to come forward, misses the slight Searing Chains combo onto Hyde. Oh, the Torrent. Very, very close there.
Solar Crest acquired as well here on Zephyr. Only 3 items. None of these little value ones. He's like, I am a big boy, I need my big boy items.
Just gets the arcade. I mean, this 4-star has paid for itself a million times over. They've got a 4-star for Whitemon as well, and both these supports are really just understanding the fact that, oh, okay, he just gets taken out. They do get the roll from FBZ on the sideline, but he gets boat and torrented, so he's going to die. Oh, and they do get the Ghost Scepter out, but they're going to be able to stop the TP? Okay.
Nope.
Oh, the Searing Chains are just on cooldown. Unfortunate there for Zephyr.
But they did have the Coca Rum, so Boom were like, well, we really just don't want to take this fight right now.
Mm-hmm. And they do start to push in this mid lane as well. They're going to look for the tier 2 tower on the top side. Raven is pretty much hit critical mass. He's going to go for a Skadi. He's also not even feeling like he needs the BKB. I mean, I guess
I'm really liking this from Makoto, though. He's going into the Halberd, realizing, well, it's great to have that extra little bit of status resistance. Plus, while you don't have this BKB available on Raven, there's not much you can do to stop that disable from coming through from the disarm. I suppose he's got the Satanic and the Titan Sliver that's going to make it last not quite as long, but still, when it's a hero like the PA that can just 2-shot heroes on your team, that extra split second that you need to maybe get Hyde away so that he can get a couple of abilities off can be the difference maker.
That is true. They've picked up a Prince's Knife as well here, so even if the Phantom Assassin wanted to pick that up, that might be a little good increase in lockdown there for GeekFam. But sticking with the Titan Sliver for now, and boom. Just trying to farm up a few more of their own neutral items. It has hit that time when the neutral items do start to tick over, so they want to try and get that next set, so for the next team fight they are as strong as they could possibly be.
Roche is up in 5 seconds. You can see that GeekFam, they're trying to play around it. Wisely actually gets rid of this Hawk, so not going to have the vision around the pit just for now.
Easy. He got hit there with the Princess Knife. They're going to turn back around. You get the roll onto Whitemon, so there's no Hand of God for them in this fight. Dreamer Cells are going to try and come forward. They still haven't used the BKB. They want to try and get as much damage done as they possibly can without having to pop all these cooldowns. Makoto trying to stick on top of Cuckoo here. Jumps himself into the trees. 4 staffs up to the high ground. So they get away from the Monkey King. So boom. They do blow up Whitemon, but they're trying to look for more as well. GeekFam going to try and come in and deal with this fight. It's a big torrent coming in there. They want to try and get onto Roche, but Dreamer Cell is about half HP. You really don't want to go into a fight like that without being full HP and having all your cooldowns.
Just through the passive gold as well, Chen did have the capability to buy back towards the end of that engagement, but able to hold on to it. Some real value coming through there. He can't be the first person that walks up. Like, what do you really need this Chen to be at the front of the team fight for? Nothing, right? It's not like he's got a Yules, it's not like he's got anything. He's got a 4-staff to save himself, and you can see now he's building into a Glimmer Cape, but I feel like he needs to stop putting himself in such precarious positions.
He's got the Shaco now, though.
Ooh.
He can use, like,
deal.
Hand of God and 2 abilities. That's how little mana he actually has now on Whitemon, so... Maybe expecting a Roche fight here is GeekFam. They walk into it themselves. There is a Courier as well as a Hawk spotting this out.
PA's 25 as well.
They're going to come in. They do get rid of that Hawk. A big arrow comes down onto Zephyr as well.
Dreamer Cell's infested in Makoto.
Going to see if they can get themselves into a good position here. If Makoto can get onto the trees towards the Roche pit, this could be a good fight for them. Raven is doing a lot of damage here to Roche, and this is an Axe Blessing as well.
They're wanting to go for the steal.
Oh, they're going to try to go on the back, but no, they get rid of the tree! Makoto, he's done, he's stunned, he's dead! They get rid of Makoto on the backside, and Dreamer Cell's the next one on the list. He does abyssal himself up to Whitemon, but it doesn't matter because Raven's killing everyone! He's taken down 2, he's looking for a third one on the side, FBZ getting the TPO with the Ghost Scepter. So they lose their Monkey King and their Lich. Zephyr's looking for another one. Actually, no, he just wants a Bounty Rune. So Hyde, with that Ghost Scepter, gets himself away for a little bit longer. They're going to try and keep on top of this Morana. Eventually, Raven takes down the Roche and he gets the Aegis, he gets a cheese, and I'd imagine who's got the Ag's Blessing for this one. Probably just going to give it to
honestly,
the Veno.
At this stage. Yeah, pretty handy on the Veno, you'd say. Yeah, picks it up.
Yep, so Veno's got the Ag's Blessing now. They've got cheese coming out as well, and Makoto, man, he tried, but the remnant break of the tree there from Zephyr, huge play, massive stun coming onto the Monkey. He didn't even get a single ability off. Didn't get BKB, he didn't get nothing out. And unfortunately for him, that meant that he died extremely fast, and then Raven just tearing everybody to bits. So, looks like boom now. They're going to try and defend for a little bit longer. The PA jumps a little bit too far into the base, but she's so tanky. Almost 4,000 health and an Aegis. I don't think you're killing Raven twice, let alone once.
And a cheese. And a Satanic.
Yeah, she's gonna... And a Minotaur Horn. So, free stun getting rid of. Just drops the cheese on the ground.
Don't need that BKB anymore, that's for sure. They've given the cheese over to Cuckoo, so just wanting him to perhaps be a bit more of a frontliner, make Raven the one that's going to be taking down these racks.
Well, they're going to try and get something done here. Smoke, as well as the Moonlight Shadow. Oh, they're trying to break the tree. Zephyr almost gets himself another Monkey King stun. So they've taken down 2 lanes of racks here. Raven, he's still looking for more. They still have a tier 2 tower on the top half, so they really can't get much else done. And right now, GeekFam, they want to try and stay inside of the base, but they realize they can't get Megas just yet. They can't complete the game. So they're going to be like, alright, boys and girls, let's go to get the tier 2 tower. Let's get this done.
That's fine. Wave's pushing in. They've already taken 2 lanes. They're in control. You don't need to make a risky play. Whereas, just like what happened around the Roche pit, Boom realized how far behind they were. They needed to try and make a huge play happen to bring themselves back into it with this PA getting out of control. And they're needing to do it again. FBZ, he's on the front lines trying to get Cuckoo.
Oh, they're trying to find something out of this, but looks like the Halberd coming in onto the life stealer. So Dream Cell and Makoto getting into the backside. They've got 4 heroes kind of grouped up here, but there's so much kite coming out here from GeekFam as well. Raven on the backside, he's getting caught out, getting roared as well. So he's stunned up on the high ground here. Boom. They're trying to get much done on the bottom side, but Raven, he's doing a lot of work. He's getting stunned up quite a lot, but this massive amount of status as this is doing a lot of work for him. Oh, Makoto, it's half his HP chunked down. Yeah, it doesn't matter if you get the Boundless strike down because you're just going to go down. He's dead for 100 seconds. So they lost their life, they've lost their Monkey King, and they're just going to call GG here. So boom, they're going to lose the second game, and GeekFam coming out on top with this Raven Phantom Assassin.
Yeah, it was always the inevitability, and I'm glad that you listened to my my tips there, Luke, for who to go for in that game based on the draft, because it was GeekFam evening it up 1-1, going to a deciding game to see who's going to make it through to the grand final.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting one. But boys and girls, we do have a break to go to first. So we'll see you guys on the other side of this for Game 3 between GeekFam and Boom ID.